So here's the interior as it is right now. This is the original tablet. As you can see, I had it painted to match my car color, that black cherry. But yeah, so that's the interior, and I absolutely love this thing, except it has some kind of quirks. As you can see over here, I have the trickle charger plugged in, as well as a USB charger. I have the tablet on a separate charging port. So I have two USB port, like USB, it's to a USB splitter. So the tablet, when it's in the car and I'm not driving it around, and if the battery dies, I don't have to sit there and remove the entire tablet. It's on like a USB splitter. So I might still do that with the new setup, we'll see. But I just want to show you. I just need to do the install, and yeah. Alright, so the tablet being installed already. This is the original one. You can see there's no line, so I can't really just pull this out. So the first thing you got to do is remove this. So it's really easy to do. Auto or the manual, same process basically. You know, just kind of, you have like a tool like this, flat. You can just try not to damage the leather. I usually do it where the stitching is, that way it's the easiest spot to like kind of just push it underneath and it just pops right up. So when you're going to pull this, the first thing you'll notice is right here you have your hazard. If you have the other button, mine is just a blank button, it's not actually like a pushable button. For the other side, for the what is that, the sport mode or whatever, like a sport, if you're the manual, you'll have another clip here that you'll have to like pop out. But it's just basically a little push clip right here, and you just push that in and pull. So once you have that removed right there, you can just take this and like just slide it carefully out of the corners, and then set it aside wherever you want to set it aside. Now mine, because I've done this so many times, because my tablet, if the battery died in it and I wasn't plugging it in the garage, like I have a separate USB, I'll show you the splitter underneath. That way when the car just sits for days on end. But you have supposed to have 2 screws. So these plates, there's supposed to be a screw here and a screw here, just a regular Phillips head. So I already removed them and just left them out because I've pulled this in and out so many times, I just don't bother. But it's just 1 screw, and then you just pull hard and it comes right out, and you just sit it to the side however you want to sit it, and then repeat that for the other side. So it just comes right out. Set that to the side. I usually just sit it on the floor. Alright, so normally you would want to disconnect the battery, turn it off. I've done this so many times, I'm not worried about it. But just so you know, if you have power running to things, you know, you can short it out or whatever if you don't be careful. But the first thing you're going to do, see this circle, you want to be very careful not to like damage this soft, like the soft material, your dash. So you just slide it underneath and pop it out. And once you pop that out, on the back side of it you have a little push button. On the other side, right, see this right here, you have a push button right here, a little push in right there. Just push that in and pull that out. Now once you have that removed, you have right here, normally there's a screw here and a screw here, Phillips head. So take your screwdriver and unscrew those and sit the screws aside to wherever you know you need them. Obviously, because I've removed this a ton of times, mine has already been out. Also, if you want to like put a towel over your shift knob or something like that so it doesn't get damaged, you can also do that. Just anything to protect the car. But I'm going to go ahead and pull the next part out, which is this. So as you're pulling this out, this side also has behind it, like this has behind it like a clip. So when you start to pull this out, be very careful, you know, take your time. You just literally, you can see, just pulling it and it starts to come off. But as you see behind this side, it's very difficult to do this solo with the poor lighting in the car and trying to hold a shop light in the same process. But right here, there's a little clip, and then you just unclip that before pulling the dash out. So as you can see, it's out. It's right here, and you can see it's just this. It just clips in there on the two sides. So this little piece right there clips into it, little LEDs. So the next start is the 4 screws that I do have. As you can see, 1, 2, and then 3, and then 4. So again, this is the original kit. So I'm gonna unscrew all 4 of those. The new kit is gonna be much easier, but let me unscrew those, pull it out, and show you. All right, now that the screws are out, when you carefully pull this away, on the back side of the tablet, on the back side of this whole thing, so your car's gonna be different because obviously you don't already have the tablet, but on the back side of the AC control, you have another clip that needs to be removed. And then you can see I have the USB to my head unit that's hidden behind it. I'm gonna actually try to redesign the way the head unit's sitting. This is the crappy old Pioneer. I have it going to a splitter, from the splitter to the head unit. I might not be able to do the full install tonight because I believe I need a USB to USB cable that I don't think I have. But let me disconnect this so it's all disconnected and go from there. So the old tablet faceplate, as you can see, holding in the AC control is 4 screws, and then if I ever needed to remove the tablet, it's 6 screws. So it's kind of a pain to have to like easily remove the tablet because you kind of can't. And then you had to jimmy rig it because there was no free moving space, so I had to like cut a space to kind of like, the tablet flips upside down. This tablet's actually in a case right now to hold it in place because I have the original one, and the original one fit the what is it, the 10.1 tab A, but it's the original 2016 or whatever the original version is. Alright, so my ghetto way of doing this, I basically USB from the tablet to a USB splitter. So I had a USB splitter, and one side went to the head unit, and the other side went to a cable extension. And that cable extension I ran down here underneath the seat, and I would tuck it in, and you could basically see it's plugged into a USB port on an extension cord in my garage. So, which the extension cord is also connected to a trickle charger that's connected to the battery. So when I leave the car for long periods of time, it would charge a tablet, keep the tablet charged. Is because I couldn't turn the tablet on and off, so it was just always on. So it always need charged. So I would just do this method. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this whole, my original setup, to go ahead and be able to do the actual install. So this is how it comes apart. So this is was all one big piece. And as you can see, that's kind of how the plastic originally looked. This like non-smooth, like whatever, it was just not smooth. So you can see the original one was not as good a quality as the new one. And then in order to make it fit, this is the newer tablet in the old cradle. So I had to make it work, so I just got a case, put it in the case, and then it fit perfectly in there. But it is upside down in there, and it's pushed in there solid, so it's not coming out. So I'm gonna have to pry that out of there and remove the case. All right, so I have originally had the navigation, and obviously I swapped to the non-nav. All my wiring, so I had like as you can see, I had the head unit up and down instead of flat in there. I'm hopefully gonna be able to reuse this tray and change it to the correct way to where it slides in there. But like I said, I originally had the nav version, so I don't know how I'm gonna do this because I don't have the same bracketry as the original. So, but also I just want to show you. So I already have wiring So I have this, which I'll see if I can find the original link, but this is to control for the steering wheel controls to the head unit. So that way you program this based on, you have the USB to your computer, and then it's just literally 2 plugs that you wire to the steering wheel controls, and it goes into the receiver of the head unit. So that way you can control the head unit via the steering wheel controls. But this requires you to actually download software and then select which head unit you're using, so this knows what controls what for the head unit. So it's a good device. It worked for me. And then I also have, which I'm hoping to get rid of, I don't know if I'm going to be able to, I have this other little box that I was having issues with my audio. When I turn this up, the gain up to the factory, that's the passenger side. And then I'm gonna turn it back down, and then here's the driver's side. Hear that static from the amp to the speakers when there's no music playing for the gain controls and stuff like that. And this was recommended from just for the head unit, and it's basically controls your gains so you can raise and lower them. But I have some sort of line noise that I got to figure out, that I've never really taken the time to do this, so excuse all the wiring mess. It's kind of a nightmare, but you get the idea because I did the nav to non-nav, so it's kind of a little bit of a ghetto rig here. So I'm gonna remove this and start fresh and figure out what I need to wire to what for the new head unit. All right guys, so I just want to show you, I have, for the steering wheel controls, I bought this. So in order to have this specific connection for the Kenwood head unit, because every head unit is different, how they connect. So I had it connected to a Pioneer head unit, so I now have to reflash it. So this is the device, and here's the Bluetooth, I mean the USB to my PC right now. It has the instructions on how to do it. I just want to show you. So basically it flashes the to your specific controls, and you can set what the steering wheel controls do. You can set them to do whatever. If you want your hang up and disconnect different, if you want your forward and back, if you hold the buttons down, you want to do some funky stuff for the head unit, you can do that. You can set up custom controls. I just did it for the default for now. I can always pull it back out and do it. But then it gives you, the best part is it gives you the wiring. So it gives you the actual specific wiring for this device to your car's pins, so you know what specifically it's to control. And then it gives you the one wire that you connect to the radio control for the remote control for your head unit. So that's what I just had to do real quick. That way I have the wiring. I already have the full car wiring diagram, so that's a whole different thing that I'll show you in a second. But I just want to show you, this is where I'm getting the wiring from for my steering wheel controls. Alright, as you can see, for mine, it gives you the colors to connect everything. So with your ground, your red, your white, like your different inputs. And then on the second page that it prints, it gives you this lovely other diagram. So that's basically the same connections. So the main ones, if you look, blue, shows you the pinout of what pins to connect to on your car's unit. So you just wire those in. Except my blue was actually green. So for 16, it said blue, but it's actually green. So, and then pink, black. So it basically shows you, and then, you know, ground, accessory. So it tells you everything that you need to pin to. So you just basically wire each one to what it wants you to wire it to, which these are all the different connections off of that big main pinout connection. So, and then on the other side, which I haven't done yet, is here's the remote control wire. Some head units, the Pioneer required, this was the way that it controlled it. The new Kenwood, it's just a wire. So I got to connect the wire and then connect that to this remote wire right here. remote wire right here on this harness for the head unit. So I'm gonna wire that in a second. Alright guys, so I wanted to show you the wiring. So you get the wiring harness. I made sure I got the one that has the extra wire. So basically this is like not the right, this is not the same one that this came with. But I just want to show you, you get the wiring harness that has the extra, like the extra yellow wires. Like there's two different ones. There's one that has like extra wires and one that doesn't. Get the one that has the more wires. So basically, this tells you exactly what to connect to, right? So whatever head unit, if you get the Kenwood and then you have the adapter, like the connection, what you do is the Kenwood actually has, guess what? Same thing. It has a diagram. It shows you exactly what to connect everything to. So you follow those wiring instructions and you'll be good. So the wiring is kind of a pain. It's tricky. Kind of trying to show you is not easy because I have the head unit in here. I used this for all my speakers. So all my speakers go into this. I will list it. It is that SCOSCHE. It's the SLC4. The reason for this is I have line noise from the Bose amp setup. So in order to get rid of the line noise when there's no like audio through it, like basically when the radio's not playing, I get like massive static through the speakers if nothing is playing. That gets rid of it. But I can still turn the radio full volume, no problems. I don't want to get copyright, so here in a little while, once I have the tablet installed, I'm taking a break for today because I had to rewire everything. But you have your head unit, and you can see the wires off of it. So mine, I have the nav. So you have your, basically your antenna goes to the a separate antenna connection. This has a blue wire off of it, which is a positive power. I have that actually tapping in to both the head unit's wiring of that unit and the basically from the car. So that way it has enough power for the antenna with no issues, because I guess the antenna, this gives an antenna out as well as the other. The remote connection I have connected to the connection right here. The wiring, again, I showed you, it tells you exactly what to connect everything to. So you basically have your ground, and it has two grounds. It's weird, but it has two grounds, so I just grounded to the same one ground. Then you have your extra two wires, which are, you have what? You have your pink, or no, you have your green right here. You have your, what, purple right here. And that's basically it. And then you have your power right here. So you basically connect all of those to the corresponding pins that it tells you to correspond to in here. And then obviously you have your other side, which is the antenna that runs to the head unit's antenna remote connection. So if you follow all the wiring, it's kind of like intuitive. You know, yellow is the regular power. Red is your other power source. It's basically when you turn the car on. Your yellow is basically your constant, and then the other, obviously your red, is when you turn the car on. Then all your speaker wires, your grounds, your everything. So just look at basically the wiring harness that you buy. It tells you all the wires are, correspond those to the head unit, and if you correspond it to the head unit, everything lines up. If you have static noise on your audio, get this. I'll list it in the video description, that way you know what to buy. And then you can get like whatever steering wheel control module you want. I went with this. That way I can control the steering wheel modules. Alright, I'm playing some copyright free music on YouTube just to show you guys that it is playing to the head unit. I do have steering wheel control, so I can raise and lower the volume. I can change the sources, which I'm not going to do right now, but I can change the source to like whatever other music, like radio, whatever. I just don't want to get copyright strike. So I have the steering wheel controls working, and that is using that device right here, that Maestro. I'll list it in the video description. I am using the gain control to get rid of any line noise. It's not necessarily needed. In my setup it was, because I had a lot of just like static through the speakers without it. So connected it, everything is good. As you can hear the music, I can turn it really loud. It can go even louder. I just don't want to, you know, blare it. Just want to show you. So one of the downsides to this is it is only connected via Bluetooth. My old head unit, I was able to use the USB port. The USB port on this says device not supported. So, I mean, the music sounds amazing either way, but some people prefer to be able to use the USB, so this head unit does not support that. It is really thin. It fits really nicely in there, so I'm just gonna keep it. Next, I need to do the support to power this always on. So that's one of the things. My old head unit, I was using the USB port off of the head unit to not only play audio, but it was also powering the tablet. So this time with this new setup, I'm gonna have to use the companion app or companion device to do that. One of the other downsides is the Kenwood application for changing the amp audio doesn't work. The application basically will just allow you to play music through it, but it doesn't really let you set up the amplifier. So that's kind of like the annoying part of it. Pros and cons, I mean, it is what it is. My old head unit, the Pioneer, had the same issue. The application wouldn't let you change the basically the bass, highs, lows, front, rear, stuff like that. So you would have to remove everything to kind of adjust everything ahead of time, unless they update or fix their application, which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and attach the companion device next. That allows you to put other USB ports and stuff like that to control like rear cameras and other stuff like that. Alright, so what I did is the companion is really easy. Just really right off of the head unit back of the harness piece that comes off of it, you just tap in the positive to the red wire and the negative to the ground wire. That's the same as the basically the head unit that comes off of this, the harness. Can't really show it because it's kind of stuffed up in there, but you can see I ran the wires up underneath. I need to like solder and go back through and solder everything permanently. I just haven't done that yet. I just wanted to make sure I have everything working correctly for you guys. But like I said, the companion is really easy, and you just plug it in to the tablet, like one end into the tablet. I'm gonna do the whole faceplate here in a minute. That's the easiest part of the whole thing. I also have my USB extension kind of thing that is into the outlet. So this still works because what's cool about it is the companion has a power in. So basically I can plug in to a wall outlet and charge it without having to, when the car's just sitting. That way I don't have to take the tablet even out. So kind of these extra little added things, kind of cool. Alright, finally faceplate time. So old one, new one, the screws. So there's these two little black screws right here. Right? There's two of them. They're gonna go right in here. So basically you lock that bottom piece into the front, slide it in, and there's those two little screws right there and right here that you're going to screw in. So you just screw those in, and I'll show you the aftermath. Now that you have the two screws in, you just slide the faceplate in, and then you see there's these two spots right there and right there. So you have 4 screws. So this sits on top, like this. Sit that right on top, and then the same on this side. So you sit it right on top to hold it in. So it kind of holds that in place. Let me do that now. Alright, so final install, head unit. I basically just used some zip ties, and there's like a metal bracket behind there as well that holds it. So I just 4 zip ties. Head unit doesn't go anywhere, it's not moving. And then I'm gonna go grab some double-sided tape and tape this underneath so it doesn't move, so it doesn't bang around. And then everything fits all nicely in there. Time to go put the tablet cradle in. So there we have the Workshop 12. Now I just need to put the dash pieces back in the same way that I removed them. So let me do that. Alright, so I have it installed. I have it right now connected to my USB, like extension USB that came off of that dongle. Here's the tablet. And what's cool about it is I can sit there and easily just grab the faceplate and pull it off. And I can remove the tablet and hit the power button or anything else that's needed. Volume up, volume down. Pull it out so someone doesn't steal it. I can do all of that. So yeah, this is freaking awesome. You can't, oh man.